Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today I want to talk about, actually it's a kind of a extended discussion from yesterday, and I want to talk replies about buying houses, buying land, buying things here in the Philippines, and I want to talk about that today. So stay tuned. Something you do have to be careful of that you really don't think about is when you do purchase something here in the Philippines, is it etched in stone that it's going to stay the way it is? You can actually get taken on a car, many different things, but land and property and things like that, you really do have to be careful. I'm going to tell you a story, family story, true story, my family, and I'm going to tell you an excerpt from yesterday. Now, the thing you don't really realize that the land management offices here, wherever purchase some land, you have to go through deeds and titles and all that, and you have to go through the land management office. There's many different steps. You have to go to where you buy it, your municipality, the barangay. You have to do a lot of steps just to purchase some land here. The thing that you don't realize that even for ourselves, even when we purchased these two lots here, it wasn't easy peasy. The fact is, you can go down and you have your title in 30, 60, 90 days. It was a year, or you have your title in 2 years, 3 years. I'm so sorry. 4 years. No, I'm so sorry. A little longer than that. It took us 4.5 years to get the title and deed finally on this property. Many steps, many things you had to do. We had the survey and everything done, the blueprints, everything that was done properly. Taxes were paid by the previous owner properly. Everything was fine. But the process it takes, it can take up to, now literally, I'm not kidding you, within 1 month time she went to Malay, which is an hour and a half away, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And that was just the start of it. She's made over 60 trips from what we can figure. Maybe more, maybe 70 or 80 trips. Just to get to step 1, to step 2, to step 3, to step 4, to step 5. Now, there are runners that actually do this. They do this for a living. They can actually if you buy a piece of property, they take it in, they get it all, and they get your tax deed worked out. Even they have a process. Even their costs can be expensive. But you don't really realize when you do buy something here, you have to really do your due diligence, because what can happen is you end up losing your property that you just spent all that money on. House, everything. And the reason why this is the reason. There are many loopholes in the current situation that you have to be very careful of. Renting sometimes can be a hassle also. It can be frustrating. Come to find out, the guy that you rented it from may not be the guy that actually owns the building. That's happened to a friend of mine that just came in. He rented a place. It was his brother, another family member. People think this family oriented here. It is family oriented. It's a family oriented country. Not everybody is family oriented in a way, brother, sister, aunts, uncle, cousins. Sometimes they're like this. It's the same that it is throughout the world. The only difference is, when they have family, the family sticks together and sticks in their thing. Whether this person did bad, this person did bad, this person did bad, this person did bad, they still stick together. Where in U.S., we just cut the cord with that brother or that family member, whatever, never talk to them again. Here, they don't. Here, the next week, he's back in good graces again. So what happens is, you don't really realize is this, that Omer, quit eating the rug. He's eating the rug. What you realize is when you buy the property and you take the papers down and they're processing the paperwork, you always need this other form and these other forms to do the process. Is it the same all the time? Not always. It can and cannot. It can be the same, but it can't be the same, because every piece of property is different. The taxes, the right-of-ways, all that stuff. We have some that actually purchased their house and had their house for 25 years plus. Come to find out, they actually don't own the land. It's sold by someone, and someone sold it. They got the money from it, and then the person that actually owns the land came forth and says, "I'm actually own the land. Here's the title and deed of the originality. Now, there's no central system here. There's no, the whole Philippines, there's no central system. If you go down and buy a piece of property, they still have to do their due diligence to make sure that property's not owned by someone else. Well, how do they do that? How do they do that, right? So it doesn't go back like where ours goes back 200, 300, 400, 500 years of the land. Here, it goes back thousands of years with the tribes and everybody else that owns a piece of property. But the problem is somebody gets involved in owning that property and has their hands in it. And then some families get upset because that person has it, and then they exchange hands and write on a piece of paper, okay, here, this is yours. But the land management office don't know any of that. There's no central system here. So when you buy a piece of property, be very careful, because you can lose your house and you can lose the property that you did. Whether it's Filipina or not, we're not allowed to own any property anyway. So I suggest leasing land or renting land is the best. But even in leasing the land, now listen, well, I'm going to get me a good attorney. I'm going to do this. Even the attorneys get shafted. Even the attorneys, these papers that was done for the gentleman I was talking about with 5-bedroom house, he had it done with an attorney. Not only did he had the captain, had the attorney, had a judge sign on it. A judge signed the papers and all this stuff, and the land office and the deed office. But come to find out, the brother had the original paper that the brother sold him, and here it is. So all he has to do is present that to them, and everything else null and void. Now, the house, would you demolish it? Yes, I would have demolished the house. But in doing that, all you're doing is you demolish the house and you're leaving the country. Buy another piece of property. His idea was get away as much property, get out of here as fast as he can, and run as fast as he can out of here. Some people, you just have to be aware. Now, when you come here and you want to buy something, I'd lease it. Or I'd make sure that person really owns the property. Now, they tell you they own it. How are you going to prove it? How are you going to do it? Did you pay taxes on it? Another loophole is if they don't pay the taxes on that property, somebody else pays the taxes on that property before you get it finalized in the 4 years, property's gone anyway. It's like it is in U.S. I don't pay my taxes on my house. Let's say my taxes are $4,000. I'm just using that example. Let's just say that. Someone, I don't pay it over a certain period of time. After a while, it's going to go on a tax document thing and show the lands it's not paid taxes on. Person's going to do a Google search on it. Next thing you know, he's going to own my property because he's going to pay the taxes and own $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 property for $5,000. No different it is here. Someone don't pay the taxes on the land or agriculture, you can actually take that. But I wouldn't do it. But I would not do that. But I would be very careful with that, because all you're doing is open up a can of worms and a big old hornet's nest and a bunch of bees and everything else together. But the thing of it is that you've got to really realize something. A lot of the guys that are doing this, is it scams? Yes. But on the other hand, left hand don't know what right hand's doing ever, because it's not a concern to them. And it's the reason why is their life is so simple. They just kind of just do their thing. It's just not something that's important at the moment. Oh, I'll get down to that tax office next week, next month. If they have something they have to do, remember, they live for the day. They don't live for tomorrow here. Far from tomorrow. If they know they got to do something, they ain't going to do it. A prime example is something that if you give them a box of gold, the culture, a box of gold, what would they do with the gold? Would they keep the gold, or would they save gold? Would they take a little piece out and keep it for themselves, go pay off all their debt? That's what I would do, and keep the rest. The box of gold will probably be spent. You have to really think about where you're at, what you're doing, and how it's being done. The poor guy that works at Walmart, him and his wife had to go back to USA because that was his life savings. He had no other money other than, I think he said he had $20,000, $30,000, and then plus he had $20,000, $30,000 available on credit cards. That's it, plus his retirement check from Walmart. And his wife had nursing. She had a little bit check coming in from Social Security. But here's something you got to think about also. He's got to start over there in U.S., so he's going to go there and start over. Is it beneficial for him to do that? In his case, it is beneficial because it's something that I would have done if I was on that particular situation. Don't think that you don't get taken advantage of. My family is fighting that animal also. They've been on a house, land for 25 years. They've thought they bought the land, they own the land, and they've had it for 25 plus years. Well, guess what? They don't own that land. Somebody that sold them the land, it's not the owner that sold the land to them, and the owner can come and claim it at any time he wants to. He's a multi-millionaire in Filipino standards, but in the eyes is they're worried. The people across the street from me right now is in the same situation. The people across the street, the 1, 2, 3, 4 houses right here are under the same situation. Land was purchased, they bought the land from the person, but they're still waiting on information that they need so they can file the paper for the title and deed, and that has been, I think they said, 10 years plus. So you never really know who you purchase and what it's about, even if you're leasing land. And the attorney in questions are valuable attorneys, and they have knowledge and know what they're doing. Even they can get taken advantage of, and that is another video I can talk to you about, because I know of an attorney got taken advantage of in the same situation, and he's an attorney, and not only a qualified attorney, one of the most qualified attorneys you would want to meet and have on your side at any given time. So don't think that they don't even get taken to, they do. So I want to thank everybody for always watching my video. God bless, and I'll see you guys next time.